In the ancient world, some lines were never meant to be crossed, some secrets were never meant to be seen. A mortal prince, flush with the thrill of the hunt, stumbled upon a sacred grove. He thought it was his lucky day. He was wrong. He had trespassed into the domain of a goddess, and what he saw would seal his fate. This is the story of Artemis, and the chilling price of disrespecting the divine. They thought they could defy the Huntress. They would soon learn that her arrows never miss. Artemis, goddess of the wild, the silver moon, the protector of the young and the untamed. She roamed the forests, a fierce and independent deity, embodying both the nurturing spirit of nature and its most ruthless, unforgiving power. We often picture her as a guardian, a silent protector moving through the moonlit woods. But tonight, we pull back the veil to reveal her other side. The side that emerges when her sacred laws are broken. This isn't just a story of a goddess. It's a terrifying lesson in divine justice, a tale of vengeance so absolute it has echoed through millennia. Prepare to witness what happens when the protector becomes the punisher. Our story begins in the shadowed forests of Mount Cithaeron. The air is thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. A young man, a prince of Thebes named Actaeon, leads his hunting party. He is a master of the hunt, trained by the wise centaur Chiron himself. His dogs are the finest in all of Greece, and his skill with the spear is unmatched. The sun hangs high, and the day has been fruitful. Laughing with his companions, Actaeon boasts of his prowess, declaring that perhaps even Artemis herself could not outmatch him in the hunt. His friends cheer, but an unnatural chill seems to weave through the trees. A warning, unheard. As the day wanes, Actaeon, feeling a surge of pride, decides to venture deeper into the forest alone, seeking one last prize. The woods grow quieter, the familiar sounds of his dogs fading behind him. He follows a stream, its melody a stark contrast to the growing silence. The trees part, revealing a hidden clearing, a place untouched by mortal hands. A grotto, bathed in an ethereal light, with a crystal-clear pool shimmering at its center. He freezes. It is a place of profound and sacred stillness. He should have turned back. He should have fled. But a fatal curiosity held him captive. There, in the sacred pool, was Artemis. Unattended by her nymphs, she was bathing, her divine form radiating a light brighter than the moon itself. Her silver bow and quiver lay on the mossy bank. For a mortal to gaze upon an unclothed deity was the highest form of sacrilege, a violation of divine law. Actaeon's breath caught in his throat. He was paralyzed, not by desire, but by a terrifying, overwhelming awe. He had seen what no mortal was ever meant to see. The snap of a twig under his foot broke the spell. Artemis's head whipped around. Her eyes, usually as serene as a forest pool, now blazed with a cold, silver fire. There was no shock, no fear in her gaze, only pure, undiluted wrath. She did not scream. She did not need to. Her very presence was a condemnation. She reached not for her bow, but for the water. Scooping a handful, she flung it at the trembling prince. As the droplets struck his face, her voice, low and chilling, echoed through the grotto. "Now," she whispered, the sound carrying the weight of a death sentence. "Go and boast that you have seen Artemis bathing, if you can." A horrifying transformation began. Actaeon tried to cry out, to beg for mercy, but no words came, only a guttural, panicked bleat. His hands and feet hardened into hooves. His skin coarsened, sprouting thick brown fur. Antlers, heavy and branched, erupted from his skull, tearing through his skin in an agonizing burst. He stumbled back, catching his reflection in the pool. A stag stared back, its eyes wide with human terror. The hunter had become the hunted. Panic seized him. He turned and fled, crashing through the undergrowth, the magnificent antlers that were his new crown now a hindrance, catching on every branch. In his mind, he was still Actaeon, Prince of Thebes. He tried to scream his own name, but only the desperate cries of a deer escaped his throat. And then he heard it. A sound that once brought him pride, now chilled him to the bone. The baying of his own hounds. They had caught his scent. Not the scent of their master, but the scent of prey. His 50 loyal companions, dogs he had raised from pups, were now a ravenous pack, driven by the primal instinct she had awakened. He ran faster than he ever had, his new form built for speed. But his mind was fractured with despair. He could hear them closing in, their barks echoing his own silent screams. He saw a clearing ahead, a chance to outrun them. But it was too late. The lead dog, Melampus, sank its teeth into his flank, and the prince, the stag, crashed to the ground. The pack descended. In his final moments, Actaeon's eyes, still filled with human consciousness, looked upon the faces of the dogs he loved as they tore him apart. He tried to make a sound, and he signed to tell them who he was, but his life drained away in a silent, brutal massacre, his blood staining the forest floor. He died not by the arrow of a goddess, but by the teeth of his own beloved hounds, a fate more twisted and cruel than a simple death. The forest fell silent once more, the only sound the gentle rustle of leaves. Artemis's justice was complete. Elsewhere, Actaeon's companions searched for their prince, calling his name, even urging his own dogs to find their master, never knowing they were carrying pieces of him in their jaws. The climax of this story isn't a grand battle, but a moment of chilling, divine certainty. It is the silence after the sentence is passed. It's the horrifying realization in Actaeon U.S. eyes as he sees his own dogs turn on him. Artemis's vengeance was not just about punishment. It was a perfect, poetic, and terrible reversal of fate. The great hunter, who boasted of his skill, was brought down not by a goddess's arrow but by the very symbols of his own pride. He became the hunted, and in his end, the sacred law of the wild was restored. The forest, her domain, had consumed him. So what does this terrifying story teach us? It is a stark reminder of the Greek concept of hubris, the fatal pride that leads mortals to challenge the gods. Artemis's actions, though merciless, were not born of malice, but of duty. She was the guardian of a sacred boundary, and Actaeon, intentionally or not, had crossed it. Her vengeance was a defense of the natural and divine order. In our modern world, this story asks us to consider our own relationship with things we deem sacred. It's a call for humility and respect, a warning against the arrogance of believing we are masters of a world far older and more powerful than we are. If you were captivated by this glimpse into the darker side of mythology, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing for more tales of divine wrath and hidden lore. What do you think of Artemis's punishment? Was it just or too cruel? Let me know in the comments below. And tell me, which god's vengeance should we uncover next? Thank you for watching. Stay curious